In the vast expanse of the galaxy, a group of powerful alien races came together to form the Galactic Council. They met in a grand hall, with tall ceilings and shiny walls that seemed to stretch on forever. The room was filled with strange creatures from all corners of the universe, each with their own unique looks and abilities. The meeting was called to talk about a growing concern among the council members: the humans. These small, fleshy beings from a tiny blue planet called Earth had been making a lot of noise lately. They were getting smarter, stronger, and more adventurous, venturing out into space and exploring the stars. Some of the aliens in the room looked worried, their big eyes darting back and forth as they whispered to each other. They had heard stories about the humans, about their quick minds and their ability to make powerful tools and weapons. A few of the aliens even suggested that the humans might one day become a threat to the Galactic Council's power. One of the tallest aliens, a being with scaly green skin and sharp claws, stood up and spoke in a deep, rumbling voice. "We cannot let these humans grow any stronger," it said, its eyes narrowing. "They are small and weak now, but who knows what they might become in the future. We must act now, before it is too late." Many of the other aliens nodded in agreement, their heads bobbing up and down like strange, colorful flowers. They knew that the humans were different from any other species they had encountered before. The humans were curious, always asking questions and seeking out new knowledge. They were also stubborn, refusing to give up even when things got tough. But not everyone in the room agreed with the idea of going to war with the humans. A few of the wiser aliens, with wrinkled skin and kind eyes, spoke up against the plan. They said that the humans were still young and learning, and that it was too soon to judge them as a threat. They suggested that maybe the Galactic Council could try to talk to the humans, to learn more about them and see if they could find a way to live in peace. However, their voices were drowned out by the shouts and growls of the other aliens, who were eager for a fight. They saw the humans as nothing more than tiny, helpless creatures who would be easy to crush. They didn't care about understanding the humans or finding a peaceful solution. All they wanted was to show their strength and prove that the Galactic Council was the most powerful force in the galaxy. In the end, the decision was made. The Galactic Council would go to war with Earth, and the humans would learn the hard way what happened to those who dared to challenge the authority of the mighty alien races. As the meeting ended and the aliens began to leave the grand hall, a few of them couldn't help but feel a small sense of unease. They had heard rumors about the humans, whispers of their bravery and their ability to overcome even the toughest of odds. Some of the aliens wondered if maybe, just maybe, they had made a mistake in underestimating these strange, small creatures from Earth. But it was too late to turn back now. The decision had been made, and the Galactic Council was ready to show the humans just how powerful they really were. Little did they know that the humans were already preparing for the fight of their lives, and that they would not go down without a battle that would shake the very stars themselves. As the aliens returned to their ships and set off into the vast emptiness of space, they could not have imagined the incredible events that were about to unfold. The war between the Galactic Council and the humans was about to begin, and it would be a conflict unlike any the galaxy had ever seen before. The humans, for their part, were still unaware of the danger that was coming their way. They continued to go about their lives, working and playing and dreaming of the future. But soon, very soon, they would find out just how much the Galactic Council had underestimated them. And they would show the aliens just what it meant to be human. It was a dangerous time for both sides, filled with uncertainty and fear. But it was also a time of great adventure and discovery, as the humans and the aliens alike were forced to confront the unknown and fight for their very survival. In the end, only one side would emerge victorious. But the journey to get there would be filled with twists and turns that no one could have predicted. And so, the stage was set for an epic battle that would determine the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy itself. The humans were ready to fight, and the Galactic Council was about to learn the true meaning of the word underestimated. Humans, get ready. As the news of the Galactic Council's decision to wage war against Earth reached the planet, the humans found themselves in a state of shock and disbelief. They had always known that there was life beyond their world, but they had never imagined that it would come in the form of a hostile alien force bent on their destruction. At first, panic spread like wildfire across the globe. People huddled in their homes, glued to their television screens and radios, desperate for any scrap of information about the impending invasion. Governments scrambled to put together emergency plans, while the military hastily mobilized their forces in preparation for the battle to come. But amidst the chaos and fear, a group of brave and brilliant individuals stepped forward to take charge. These were the world leaders, the scientists, the generals, and the everyday heroes who refused to let their planet go down without a fight. They knew that the odds were stacked against them, but they also knew that the human spirit was a force to be reckoned with. The first step was to unite the people of Earth under a common cause. The leaders of every nation put aside their differences and came together in a show of solidarity. They vowed to work together, to share their resources and knowledge, and to stand as one against the alien threat. It was a moment of great pride for the human race, as they saw just how strong they could be when they worked together. Next, the scientists and engineers got to work on developing new weapons and defenses to protect the planet. They worked day and night, fueled by a sense of urgency and a desire to prove that human ingenuity was a match for any alien technology. They created powerful lasers and missiles, advanced radar systems and force fields, and even a few surprises that the aliens would never see coming. Meanwhile, the military began to train and equip its soldiers for the fight ahead. They knew that they would be going up against an enemy unlike any they had ever faced before, but they were determined to give it their all. They practiced new combat techniques and strategies, learning how to work together in tight-knit teams and how to use the terrain to their advantage. But it wasn't just the soldiers who were preparing for battle. Ordinary people from all walks of life stepped up to do their part as well. Farmers and factory workers, teachers and doctors, everyone pitched in to help in whatever way they could. Some volunteered to join the military, while others worked to keep the country running smoothly in the face of the crisis. As the days turned into weeks, the humans began to feel a sense of hope and determination. They knew that the road ahead would be long and difficult, but they also knew that they had the strength and the will to see it through. They drew inspiration from the stories of their ancestors, who had faced seemingly impossible odds and come out victorious time and time again. The aliens, for their part, continued to underestimate the humans. They saw them as primitive and weak, no match for the advanced technology and superior numbers of the Galactic Council. They believed that the war would be over quickly, that the humans would surrender or be crushed in a matter of days. But the humans had a few surprises in store for the aliens. They had been studying the enemy's tactics and weaknesses, looking for any advantage they could find. They had also been working on a secret weapon, one that would turn the tide of the war in their favor. As the final preparations were made and the world held its breath, the humans knew that they were ready for whatever lay ahead. They had the courage, the determination, and the ingenuity to take on the Galactic Council and win. They would not go down without a fight, and they would show the aliens just what it meant to be human. The stage was set for the first battle of the war, and the humans were ready to give it their all. They knew that the fate of their planet and their species hung in the balance, but they also knew that they had the strength and the will to prevail. The aliens may have had superior technology in numbers, but the humans had something even more powerful: the unbreakable spirit of humanity. The first fight. As the alien ships descended from the sky like a swarm of angry locusts, the humans braced themselves for the impact. They had never seen anything like it before. Massive, gleaming vessels that seemed to fill the entire horizon, casting long shadows over the earth below. The first wave of attacks came swiftly and without warning. Laser beams and plasma blasts rained down from the ships, destroying buildings and vehicles in a matter of seconds. The ground shook with the force of the explosions, and the air was filled with the sounds of screaming and shattering glass. But the humans were ready. They had spent weeks preparing for this moment, and they were not about to let the aliens take their planet without a fight. The military sprang into action, deploying their own weapons and vehicles to counter the alien onslaught. On the front lines, soldiers armed with advanced rifles and rocket launchers took aim at the enemy ships, firing off round after round of explosive ammunition. They moved quickly and efficiently, using the cover of buildings and natural terrain to avoid the aliens' line of fire. Meanwhile, in the skies above, human fighter jets engaged the alien craft in a dizzying display of aerial combat. They darted and weaved through the air, using their superior maneuverability to outflank the larger, more cumbersome alien ships. Back on the ground, civilians took shelter in underground bunkers and reinforced buildings, watching the battle unfold on television screens and computer monitors. They cheered as human forces scored direct hits on the alien vessels and held their breath as the enemy returned fire with devastating accuracy. But despite the aliens' superior technology, the humans refused to give up. They fought with a tenacity and determination that seemed to catch the invaders off guard. They used guerrilla tactics and improvised weapons, adapting to the changing battlefield with a creativity and resourcefulness that the aliens had not anticipated. As the battle raged on, it became clear that the humans were holding their own against the alien forces. They had managed to take out several of the enemy ships and had suffered relatively few casualties in return. The aliens, who had expected an easy victory, found themselves struggling to maintain their position. In a desperate attempt to turn the tide, the aliens unleashed a barrage of powerful energy weapons that seemed to light up the entire sky. The blasts were so intense that they vaporized everything in their path, leaving behind nothing but scorched earth and ash. But even in the face of this devastating attack, the humans refused to back down. They rallied around their leaders and their fellow soldiers, drawing strength from their shared sense of purpose and their unbreakable spirit. As the smoke began to clear and the dust settled, it became apparent that the humans had won the first battle. The alien ships were in retreat, limping back into orbit with significant damage and heavy losses. The news of the victory spread quickly, and people all over the world erupted in celebration. They poured out into the streets, waving flags and banners, hugging and crying tears of joy. For the first time since the invasion began, they felt a sense of hope and pride in their species. But even as they savored their triumph, the humans knew that the war was far from over. The Galactic Council would not take this defeat lightly, and they would undoubtedly return with even greater force and determination. Still, the humans had proven themselves to be a formidable opponent, and they had shown the aliens that they were not to be underestimated. They had the courage, the ingenuity, and the sheer stubborn will to keep fighting, no matter the odds. As the sun began to set on the first day of the war, the humans looked to the future with a renewed sense of purpose and resolve. They knew that there would be many more battles to come, and that the road ahead would be long and difficult. But they also knew that they had the strength and the heart to see it through, no matter what challenges lay ahead. The first fight was over, but the war had only just begun, and the humans were ready to face it head-on. With all the courage and determination that had brought them this far, they would not rest until their planet was safe, and the Galactic Council had learned the true meaning of human resilience. Striking back and sneaking in. After their shocking victory against the alien invaders, the humans knew they couldn't just sit back and wait for the next attack. They had to take the fight to the enemy, and they had to do it fast. The world's leaders gathered together to come up with a plan, and after much discussion, they decided on a bold course of action. First, they would launch a counterattack against the alien bases that had been set up on Earth. These bases were heavily guarded and well defended, but the humans had a few tricks up their sleeves. They had managed to capture some of the alien technology during the first battle, and their scientists had been working around the clock to reverse engineer it. Using this newfound knowledge, the humans were able to create their own versions of the alien weapons and vehicles. They also developed specialized equipment for their soldiers, including advanced body armor and stealth technology that would allow them to sneak past enemy defenses undetected. The counterattack was launched in the early hours of the morning, with human forces simultaneously striking multiple alien bases across the globe. The aliens were caught off guard by the sudden assault, and many of their outposts fell quickly to the human onslaught. But the humans didn't stop there. They knew that to truly defeat the aliens, they would need to gather intelligence on their weaknesses and vulnerabilities. So, they sent in teams of elite operatives to infiltrate the alien ships and bases, gathering as much information as they could. These infiltration teams were made up of the best and brightest soldiers from around the world, each one handpicked for their skills and abilities. They were trained in advanced combat techniques, as well as in the art of stealth and subterfuge. Using their high-tech gear and their own ingenuity, the infiltration teams were able to slip past the alien defenses and make their way deep into enemy territory. They moved silently through the corridors of the alien ships, hacking into computer systems and stealing valuable data. As they explored the alien vessels, the infiltration teams made a startling discovery. They found evidence of a critical weakness in the aliens' command structure, a vulnerability that could be exploited to bring down their entire operation. The humans wasted no time in capitalizing on this new information. They launched a series of daring sabotage missions, targeting key systems and infrastructure within the alien bases. They planted explosives, disrupted communication networks, and generally caused as much chaos and confusion as possible. The aliens were thrown into disarray by these surprise attacks, and their once formidable defenses began to crumble. The human forces pressed their advantage, pushing deeper into enemy territory and taking control of more and more alien outposts. Back on Earth, the mood was one of cautious optimism. The people celebrated each victory, but they also knew that the war was far from over. The Galactic Council was still a powerful and dangerous foe, and they would not give up easily. But the humans had shown that they were a force to be reckoned with. They had proven that they could adapt and innovate in the face of overwhelming odds, and that they would never back down from a fight. As the counterattack continued, and the infiltration teams gathered more and more intelligence, the humans began to see a glimmer of hope on the horizon. They knew that there was still a long way to go, but they also knew that they had the strength and the determination to see it through. The aliens, for their part, were starting to realize the magnitude of their mistake. They had underestimated the humans, dismissing them as weak and primitive. But now, they were beginning to see the true depth of human ingenuity and resilience. The war was entering a new phase, and the humans were ready to take the fight to the next level. They would not rest until the alien threat was eliminated, and their planet was safe once again. The Galactic Council had picked a fight with the wrong species, and now they were going to pay the price. As the sun rose on a new day, the humans looked to the future with renewed hope and determination. They had struck back against the aliens, and they had shown that they were a force to be reckoned with. The road ahead would be long and difficult, but they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. For the sake of their planet, and for the sake of all humanity, they would fight on until the very end. Changing the game. The infiltration teams had done their job well, and the information they brought back was nothing short of a game changer. The human scientists and engineers pored over the data, working tirelessly to find a way to exploit the aliens' newly discovered weakness. It was a vulnerability in the aliens' communication system, a flaw that could be used to disrupt their entire network. If the humans could find a way to take advantage of this weakness, they could turn the tide of the war in their favor. The scientists worked around the clock, developing a new kind of weapon that would target the aliens' communication system directly. It was a device that emitted a powerful electromagnetic pulse, capable of frying the aliens' electronics and rendering their ships and weapons useless. But creating the weapon was only half the battle. The humans still needed to find a way to deliver it to the alien fleet, which was currently in orbit around Earth. They knew that a direct assault would be suicide, as the aliens still had vastly superior numbers and firepower. Instead, the humans came up with a daring plan. They would use a small, fast-moving ship to sneak past the alien defenses and deliver the weapon directly to the heart of the enemy fleet. It was a risky gambit, but it was their best chance at victory. The ship was crewed by a hand-picked team of the best pilots and soldiers the humans had to offer. They knew that the fate of the entire planet rested on their shoulders, and they were ready to do whatever it took to succeed. As the ship approached the alien fleet, the tension on board was palpable. The crew knew that they only had one shot at this, and if they failed, the consequences would be catastrophic. But they had trained for this moment, and they were ready. The pilot expertly maneuvered the ship through the alien defenses, dodging laser blasts and missiles with incredible skill and precision. Finally, they were in range. The weapon was armed and ready, and with a single command, it was launched towards the heart of the alien fleet. The effect was immediate and devastating. The electromagnetic pulse tore through the alien ships like a hot knife through butter, frying their electronics and rendering them dead in space. The once mighty fleet was reduced to a collection of floating hulks, drifting aimlessly through the void. Back on Earth, the news of the successful mission spread like wildfire. People cheered in the streets, hugging and crying with relief. They knew that this was a turning point in the war, a moment that would be remembered for generations to come. The aliens, for their part, were thrown into complete disarray. They had never encountered a weapon like this before, and they had no idea how to counter it. They retreated from Earth's orbit, regrouping and trying to come up with a new plan of attack. But the humans were not content to sit back and wait. They knew that they had to press their advantage, and they launched a massive offensive against the alien forces. Using their new weapon, they targeted the aliens' communication systems and supply lines, cutting them off from reinforcements and resources. They also used the intelligence gathered by the infiltration teams to predict the aliens' movements and strategies, staying one step ahead of them at every turn. The alien forces were pushed back, suffering heavy losses, and losing ground with each passing day. They had underestimated the humans, and now they were paying the price for their arrogance. The Galactic Council, once so confident in their superiority, now found themselves on the defensive. They knew that if they didn't find a way to turn the tide of the war soon, they would be facing a humiliating defeat at the hands of a species they had once dismissed as primitive and weak. Back on Earth, the mood was one of cautious optimism. The humans knew that they had struck a major blow against the aliens, but they also knew that the war was far from over. The Galactic Council was still a formidable foe, and they would not go down without a fight. But the humans were ready for whatever came next. They had shown that they were more than a match for the aliens, and they would not rest until their planet was safe and secure. As the dust settled on the latest round of battles, the humans looked to the future with renewed hope and determination. They had changed the game, and now it was up to them to see it through to the end. The fate of the entire planet hung in the balance, and they would not let it fall. Not now, not ever. The last battle. The Galactic Council was in a state of panic. They had never expected the humans to put up such a fierce resistance, let alone develop a weapon capable of crippling their entire fleet. But they were not ready to admit defeat just yet. They still had one last trick up their sleeve, one final gambit that could turn the tide of the war in their favor. They gathered all of their remaining ships and weapons, every last resource they had, and prepared for a massive assault on Earth. They knew that this was their last chance to crush the human resistance once and for all, and they were determined to make it count. The humans, meanwhile, were preparing for the final showdown. They knew that the Galactic Council would not go down without a fight, and they were ready to meet them head-on. They had their own secret weapon, a new type of spaceship that was faster, stronger, and more heavily armed than anything the aliens had ever seen before. The ship was the result of months of hard work and innovation by the human scientists and engineers. They had taken everything they had learned from their battles with the aliens and used it to create a vessel that was truly a force to be reckoned with. As the alien fleet approached Earth, the humans launched their new ship into orbit. It was a sight to behold, a sleek and powerful craft that seemed to embody the very spirit of human ingenuity and determination. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen before. The human ship darted and weaved through the alien fleet, taking out enemy vessels with incredible speed and precision. The aliens fought back with everything they had, but they were no match for the humans' advanced technology and tactics. The human pilots were some of the best in the world, hand-picked for their skill and bravery. They flew their ship with a level of skill and daring that left the aliens stunned and amazed. They seemed to anticipate every move the enemy made, staying one step ahead of them at every turn. As the battle raged on, it became clear that the humans were winning. They had already taken out a significant portion of the alien fleet, and they showed no signs of slowing down. The Galactic Council, once so confident in their superiority, now found themselves on the brink of total defeat. In a last-ditch effort to turn the tide, the aliens unleashed a barrage of their most powerful weapons. Laser beams and plasma blasts filled the sky, threatening to overwhelm the human ship and its crew. But the humans were ready for this. They activated their ship's advanced shields, which absorbed the aliens' attacks and left them unscathed. They then launched a counterattack of their own, using a combination of missiles and energy weapons to take out the remaining alien ships. In the end, it was no contest. The human ship emerged victorious, having destroyed the entire alien fleet without suffering a single casualty. The Galactic Council, once so mighty and powerful, was forced to surrender unconditionally. The news of the human victory spread quickly throughout the galaxy. Aliens from all corners of the universe marveled at the incredible feat the humans had accomplished. They had taken on the most powerful force in the galaxy and emerged triumphant, proving once and for all that they were a force to be reckoned with. Back on Earth, the celebration was unlike anything the world had ever seen. People poured into the streets, cheering and dancing with joy. They had done it. They had beaten the aliens and saved their planet from destruction. The human leaders, who had worked so hard to unite their people and lead them to victory, were hailed as heroes. They had shown that when humanity stood together, there was nothing they couldn't accomplish. As the dust settled and the celebrations died down, the humans knew that they had entered a new era. They had proven themselves to be a major player on the galactic stage, and they would not be underestimated again. They had faced the greatest challenge of their lives and emerged stronger, wiser, and more united than ever before. The Galactic Council, meanwhile, was left to lick their wounds and ponder the incredible mistake they had made. They had underestimated the humans, dismissing them as weak and primitive. But now, they knew the truth. The humans were a force to be reckoned with, a species that would not be conquered or controlled. As the humans looked to the future, they knew that there would be many more challenges ahead, but they also knew that they had the strength, the courage, and the determination to face whatever came their way. They had proven themselves to be the masters of their own destiny, and they would never let anyone take that away from them again. A fresh start. In the aftermath of the Great Battle, the humans found themselves in a new position of power and influence. They had defeated the mighty Galactic Council, and now the entire universe was watching to see what they would do next. The human leaders knew that this was a critical moment in their history. They could either use their newfound power to dominate and control the other alien races, or they could use it to build bridges and forge new alliances. After much deliberation, the humans decided on the latter course of action. They reached out to the Galactic Council, offering to work together to create a new era of peace and cooperation. At first, the aliens were skeptical. They had been beaten and humiliated by the humans, and they weren't sure if they could trust them. But as the humans continued to extend the hand of friendship, the aliens began to see that they were sincere. The humans invited the alien leaders to come to Earth, to see for themselves the incredible achievements of human civilization. They showed them the great cities they had built, the amazing technologies they had developed, and the vibrant cultures they had created. The aliens were impressed by what they saw. They had always thought of humans as primitive and backward, but now they could see that they were anything but. The humans had a level of creativity, ingenuity, and determination that was unmatched by any other species in the galaxy. As the aliens spent more time on Earth, they began to form new bonds with the humans. They shared their own knowledge and technologies, and the humans in turn shared theirs. Together, they worked to solve the great problems that faced the galaxy, from climate change to disease to poverty. The humans also began to venture out into the wider universe, exploring new worlds and making contact with other alien races. Wherever they went, they brought with them a message of peace and friendship, and a willingness to learn from and work with others. Over time, the humans became known as one of the most respected and influential species in the galaxy. They were seen as wise and benevolent leaders, always willing to lend a helping hand to those in need. Other alien races began to look to the humans for guidance and support, and many of them even began to adopt human customs and ways of life. The human language became the lingua franca of the galaxy, and human culture began to spread to every corner of the universe. Back on Earth, the humans were enjoying a new era of prosperity and progress. With the threat of alien invasion gone, they were free to focus on improving their own lives and the lives of those around them. They invested heavily in education and research, knowing that knowledge was the key to a better future. They also worked to address the great challenges of their time, from climate change to inequality to disease. As the years passed, the humans looked back on the Great War as a turning point in their history. It had been a terrible and tragic event, but it had also brought them together as a species and shown them what they were capable of when they worked together. The Galactic Council, too, looked back on the war with a sense of regret. They knew that they had made a terrible mistake in underestimating the humans, and they were determined to never make that mistake again. Instead, they worked to build a new relationship with the humans, one based on mutual respect and cooperation. They knew that together, they could achieve great things and make the galaxy a better place for all. As the humans and aliens looked to the future, they knew that there would be many more challenges ahead. But they also knew that they had the strength, the wisdom, and the determination to face whatever came their way. They had learned the lessons of the past, and they were ready to build a new future together. A future where all species could live in peace and harmony, where knowledge and understanding could flourish, and where the great potential of the universe could be realized. It was a bright and hopeful future, one that the humans and aliens were proud to be a part of. And as they looked up at the stars, they knew that the best was yet to come.